What is going on, everybody? I'm Kris Pursiainen, and you're watching Dream Draft Rules, everything around me right here on Knicks Film School KFS, your number one spot for all things analysis, content, John's bad dad jokes, all things Knicks, New York Knickerbockers. Welcome into Dream. It is an honor, like I said. If you missed draft class, the official episode 1, we did some March Madness live streams and episodes, but now we are here in the summertime. You know, there's definitely nothing else going on in the basketball world. There's definitely no ridiculous WNBA conversation going on right now, and the NBA finals have yet to start. So right now we're dialed on the W, but talking about stuff on the court, and we're dialed on the NBA draft. It's coming up. I have got you covered all month long, up until and even after. We'll talk after the draft, but welcome in, everybody. It's so nice to see y'all. How are we doing? Listen, for me, I want to start out with a little mini monologue here, a little mini log here, and that's just I don't think this draft class is the threat to society that it is often covered as. Listen, sometimes you get a draft where you get, I'm trying to think of an analogy, but I'm just going to say what I mean. You get the superstar talent at the top. You get someone in a draft class like a Zion Williamson, who you watch them play one singular half of NCAA basketball, and you're like, oh, that guy's the number one pick. That's the guy. Sometimes you get a class like Paolo and Chet and Jabari Smith Jr., where even Woj and Shams can't agree right before the draft of who's going to go first or who's going to go second. And sometimes you get the generational Victor Wembanyama level prospect in the draft. I mean, Luka Doncic didn't even go first overall. Like, it's really rare that you get such a consensus number one player. And I think people have kind of locked in on Alex Sarr as the consensus number one player in this draft, but I don't even know if I'm there personally. So the draft Twitter nerd in me is winking Ron Holland's way. So, you know, to me, I really do think that this draft class is one of the more fun draft classes, not just because of the fact that I think it's better than people think. And you guys know me. If you know me, if you've been following my coverage for any amount of time, you know that I gravitate towards the underdogs, the underappreciated, the underdiscussed, the malaligned, the maligned. That's one word. But yeah, you guys know how I am. So obviously I want to see this draft class do well. But that said, it's also really fun because you really have no idea who is going number one. You have no idea who any team has number one, really. That said, you guys are here. I'm here. Hello. It's so nice to see you all in the comments. Jordan, Ben, Zach, Alex, Jason, Sam. What is up, y'all? It is so great to see you guys. Let's talk NBA draft. We're going to start things off with Jordan Bub. Jordan, he says, Zach Edey, would you want Edey on the Knicks? Now, this is a tough one, right? I think the New York Knicks have 2 starting centers on their roster, Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. Now, all indications are that Hartenstein will probably stay with New York. I know the reports have come out saying, hey, Hartenstein might get X amount of money, Y amount of tens of millions of dollars, Z amount of hundreds of millions. Is that like, just show me the team. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like Denver. No, well, they have the guy, arguably the best player in the sport. Oh, Brooklyn will really? And I don't think he wants to go there because they screwed up his draft stock. If you saw that Roommates show interview. So like, name me the team. The Magic are the one team where you're like, oh, they might bag out Hartenstein. Will they? Because they need a guard more than anything else. And I know they got Anthony Black coming up through the pipeline, but this Magic team showed us this season that, they're in the kind of position where they can go make a bet on someone. And if it pays off, they'll be a top 5-6 team in the Eastern Conference. So I'm not super sold that they're going to drop hundreds of millions on Isaiah Hartenstein. That said, Zach Edey is good at basketball. I think last year he was discussed as like a G League overseas kind of player. And I thought that was okay analysis. But the result doesn't always justify the process. Like I thought the way in which people were arriving at that take was not fair to Edey or honest, like just like analysis that was even trying to be fair. This cycle, you see lots of mixed opinions on him. That being said, I'm on the higher end of those mixed opinions. I think the number one thing a contender needs in every single, there's two things, right? Plus defenders, star in their role. Edey is big enough and not super mobile, but enough to play drop coverage in the NBA where you're like, okay, this is a guy who can come in and be a star in his role for 20 minutes a game on a good team. Look at an Andre Drummond, right? And Andre Drummond, he's someone who you can play not as a full-time starter on a serious good team. Now shout out that MGrad's tweet about LeBron and AD and Drummond. But that said, Edey, I think, can kill in his minutes. He's going to be a good scorer. He's going to be someone who scores the ball with ease. If sets are drawn up for him, he'll be able to go out there and make his minutes worth it. Maybe by like the second year of his career, like be like a definite positive. For the New York Knicks, is he someone that they're going to enter the season penciling in at 20 minutes a game or 18 minutes a game or 16 minutes a game? Probably not. If the Knicks lose Hartenstein or re-sign Hartenstein and trade Robinson, again, big if that happens and they draft Edey, I would expect them to re-sign Precious Achiuwa and for him to start the season as the backup five. But I would want Zach Edey on the Knicks if I were someone who wanted the Knicks to do well long term. I think he'll be a good player. I think he'll stick in the NBA, and that's this draft class, man. You're looking for guys who are going to stick, guys who are going to be a star in their role. You're looking for guys who, honestly, you trust to come in and play a role and then also have that wiggle room to get better long term. All right, let's go to some super chats. We got some super chats. Shout out to you guys. First off, it's Fargo Tufo. What up, Alex? If the New York Knicks package 24 and 25 and maybe more to move up, how high can they go? Any teams there who might want to move back, and who should they target? If you asked me this in March, I would say the Knicks should unequivocally move up to the 16 to 18 range and target Providence guard Devin Carter. He, as you know, at Presidente with the Strickland, has said he is like the perfect New York Knicks fit in this NBA draft. But Carter played himself way out of that conversation, and apparently, allegedly, he's got a lottery promise. So good luck, not getting him anymore. Now, when it comes to moving up into that range, you're thinking about probably looking for someone who would fall there. Who is going to fall to the, well, let's talk about the range first, right? I know there was someone talking about the Knicks, like some Suns blogger. I'm not saying some Suns blogger derogatorily. I just don't know who it was. But someone wrote that the Knicks and Suns both benefit if the Knicks trade 24 and 25 for the Suns' 22nd pick. Like, that's not, what are we doing? That's not, no. That said, say the Knicks use these two picks and got to the 19th or 18th or 20th pick, and they also got like a future second or two back, that NFL style trade where you need all those different picks from the different rounds. And speaking of NFL, now the draft's in 2 days, not in 2 days. It's over 2 days. And the second day is 4 p.m. on a weekday.
God bless. But anyway, that's just the real sickos will be tuned in. We will be watching. But for the Knicks, if they moved up to that range, there's zero shot Cody Williams or Stephon Castle is there. If Cody Williams is there, that's like a great guy to send to Westchester. I would just think he's gone by then. Do we see the Thunder take him with their pick? If they move up, I guess I'll just make the case against moving up. This is a draft class where if you take one NBA lead draft evaluator's big board from the 14th or the 15th to the 30th or 35th spots, I bet you could find, if you just flipped it, take the 35th guy and put him 15th, the 34th guy, put him 16th, etc. You could find another team's lead draft guy whose board looks somewhat like that. Like not exactly, but close. There's going to be like little tiers, where teams agree. But this is the kind of draft where fit matters more than usual, because you're looking for someone who situationally can thrive in your system. And so that being said, I think trading up just a couple spots is probably not worth the gamble. If I were the Knicks and I was saying we are trading one of these two picks no matter what, I would think about, if you're trading the 24th pick and not the 25th, which would have more value, who are they going to take? Do they want one of your guys? Will they give you a future first and a protected first or second round picks? Like, I would stock the coffers with this. Why? The New York Knicks, since Leon Rose was hired, are angling for a superstar trade. They brought in Jalen Brunson. They brought in OG Anunoby and Isaiah Hartenstein and Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks without using any first-round picks. It's been clear that the New York Knicks value their draft picks and not teetering with or playing with the Stepien rule, because they are going to be trading first-round picks going forward for a superstar. And so that said, play that angle, play that hand, play those cards. All right. Any teams who might want to move back? The teams that might want to move back. Let's take a look. The Lakers at 17. Would they take 24 and 25 for 17? I mean, unless they want Bronny James that bad that they are going to move back and then draft someone else. Maybe they think they can get like Edey and Bronny. This sounds like a 2K rebuild more than it does real team building. So maybe not. The Raptors, would they want to move back? Maybe Masai is feeling himself and feeling his late first round talent selection. The Pelicans have so many picks. I don't think they want to move back. The Heat, the Sixers, the Heat, I think definitely would not want to move back. So maybe they will, because I don't know anything. But I think the Heat are a little scared about this Jimmy Butler situation. I think if a team like the Sacramento Kings threw a bunch of first-round picks at them for Jimmy Butler, they'd really think long and hard about it, because they are in a little bit of a tenuous spot. And I know they just bought at the last deadline with Rozier and with DeLon Wright, two guys who I love. I really like DeLon Wright. Maybe they don't want to pivot so hard so fast, but I don't see the Heat wanting to move back at all. I think they want some good young talent. And if the Knicks did move up, okay, say someone like Dalton Connect was there at 18 and they could move up and get him, that's probably worth your time as a long-term Bojan Bogdanovic replacement, especially if you want to trade Bogdanovic this offseason, depending on how his rehab is going. He's had the second surgery, so now both surgeries are in the books. He's rehabbing both the wrist and the foot. But if you can stay at 24 and 25, trade one of them and get Carlton Carrington with that pick that you keep, or you can get if you're going to do Ryan Dunn, who I've been talking a lot about. If you're going to say Jared McCain has a massive slide, he's someone I could see the Knicks front office wanting to agree with Tibbs and send to Westchester, see what he can become. You have to balance the extent to which you're taking an upside bet and the extent to which you're taking someone who has skills that can play now. But That said, the Knicks really are going to be on the can play now end of that spectrum. They've never, even when the team wasn't this good, they weren't taking projects because of Tom Thibodeau's the head coach. And it's been working out well for them. I don't expect them to pivot hard from that strategy now. Next up, let's go to Jason Meredith, my man. Oh my God. Bro, you're talking to the right guy about this. Bummed, Caravan, Salas, Watkins, C. Jones returned. Listen, the returners in this NBA draft are so foul. Do you mean if you mean K. Jones, Cam Jones? I agree with all four names here. Dude, some of my favorite prospects returned. Absolutely foul and nasty and terrible. Good for them, right? I'm not trying to crap on their decision. It's an important decision. It's an important one to get right. It could determine largely the outcome of their potential NBA career, staying another year or not. And I think our system nowadays encourages guys who aren't ready to declare. Now, NIL has flipped that a little bit. Good for all four of these guys for returning. That said, damn it. Because some of these guys that went back to school are some of my favorite prospects, and they really, really, really put a wrench in my big board. So yeah. All right. Jordan Bubb, who should the Knicks be looking to trade up for in this draft? If anyone, I would say nobody. I would say don't look to trade up in this draft. Play the board, man. Sit where you are. If you're going to trade one of the 2 first-round picks, kick the can down the road. I have been enlightened to this strategy. Think about this, right? For all the hubbub, the hoopla, the rampantly, incessantly emotional discussion, and I'm including myself in the discussers of this, for the New York Knicks trading out of the Jalen Williams pick, they got 3 first-round picks for Ousmane Dieng. Hello? Like, good deal. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's ultimately for a team that is trying to be it. We're going to circle back. Ultimately, for a team that is really good right now, is there any other team in the league that's like a top contender that gets so much crap for trading out? We know the Denver Nuggets have been good throughout the years at like getting guys at like the 30th pick that fit in their rotation. And then, oh, wait, Peyton Watson is who they leaned on. And love P. Watt. This is nothing against Peyton Watson. UCLA, John Rivers, respect. That said, they leaned on Peyton Watson to fill the Bruce Brown role. Bruce Brown just walked and left, and they were like, I think the GM literally said, like, careful what you wish for, because now Peyton Watson's playing. Is he? Did he in the playoffs? Did he play big minutes? Did he play significant? Won't go there. Meaningful minute? Won't go there. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm not some anti-prospect guy. That's I do this is Knicks Film School, and I do the draft show. I love it. But the Knicks are actually good now. Guys, we've got to switch the lenses through which we look at NBA draft prospects. Ben, Kim, Gervy, what is up, my man? Hey, Kris. Hey, Ben. Would love to hear about any and all of the following. Let's do it. Dunn, Dylan Jones, Adem Bona. Any thoughts on the fit with Thibodeau? Added bonus, imagine Clyde calling a game with Bona getting minutes. Oh, man, you're too much. Mike, the neophyte, Adem Bona getting in the game. Oh, Mike, he's going to give me a... Won't go there. Okay, Ryan Dunn. I assume we're going to be talking about him a lot today, so let's get it started now. I'll do quick hitters for the guys you asked about. Ryan Dunn. I mean, what can you say about him? He is a special defender. Stock monster. All right? Like he's got the instincts, he's got the length, he's got the basketball IQ to make plays all over the court on the defensive end of the floor. That said, huge questions about his offensive game. To what extent do you trust him on the offensive end? The answer, if we're being honest, should be not very much or at all right now. but maybe a year in Westchester as the number one option, joining the club of role players in the NBA who are really good, who in college had a high usage, despite never having one in the NBA. Like, again, there are very few players in this draft who, if they are drafted by the Knicks in the first round, I'd be like, he's going to be in the rotation by the All-Star break if the team stays healthy. So again, done. If the team does not stay healthy and they've got to play him, okay, let's see what you got, kiddo. But he's not going to be creating offense at the NBA level in his first season. He is going to be, chucking threes from the corner with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. If Dunn is on the floor, expect a lot of those Josh Hart horizontal, sideways, fading, free throw line extended mid-range jumpers with 1.6 seconds left on the shot clock. Like, you're putting Dunn in to play grind it out, party like it's 1958 Tom Thibodeau basketball. And you probably aren't planning for that you'd get forced into that by injury. Yeah. Dylan Jones, fun ball player. He's a creator. He is someone who can make passes that I'm not certain many guys in this class can make. Sure, like the best passer in the class is probably a Topic or maybe a Collier once he's driven into the paint. But he's up there. That said, doesn't scream Knicks to me. Dylan Jones is someone who, like, I mean, it's Weber State. All right. I'm not, they'll find you if you're really good. He's been a standout at Weber State. He just worked out with the Portland Trailblazers. Like, will he go past Utah at 32? They just picked Bryce Sensabaugh last year. They seem to like these kind of guys. I don't know. That said, I don't know if I would have drafted Jones last year. And then because of this draft class, like, a team might take a bite at the apple in the late first. I just don't know what you're looking at with Jones in terms of, I'm really trying to think, like, honestly here about this. When you're talking about Dylan Jones, it's like, when in the NBA, he is not going to have the ball in his hands as much as he did at Weber State. How can he affect the game? How can he make his time on the court worth it? I think he is good. I think he can play on, with that lens, like, through those challenges. He's 6'6". He's a ball handler. He's not a fantastic athlete. He doesn't have an amazing first step. It's like decent. He's not a great athlete. But he's a strong finisher. The thing is, will it translate against NBA rim protectors? I'm kind of struggling here to have a strong take on this. It's the kind of thing where, like, he's shooting really well on spot up threes, but it's not a whole lot of, he's not a high volume guy there. So he needs to really be good at everything. And yes, he's a good passer, a great passer, but he had the ball a whole lot, like, on a team like Memphis or on a team like even OKC. Like, I could see him being good. He's a good defensive player, but he's just not a super strong athlete. He's not someone who I think will have the ball in his hands a whole lot at the NBA level. And he's gonna have to really thrive in the margins. If he does, if he's devoted to the plays that don't show up on the stat sheet, if he improves the shooting, is sustainable at good volume, yeah, like, he can play for my ball club. He can come off the bench. He can help spark that bench unit. You can stagger him with your starting bigs. That's all cool and fine and dandy. But Bart Torvik queries are a blessing and a curse. And when you run a Bart Torvik, I think it was No Ceilings that did this. They ran a Bart Torvik query. It was like 8 guys who profiled like Dylan Jones, and 2 of them were Ben Simmons and Kyle Anderson, who are both like 3.5 inches taller than him. And then the rest of the guys are like non-NBA players. So he's really hit or miss to me. And Adem Bona, UCLA, he has some moments, but he's definitely someone who gives you every kind of highlight. Like, he'll give you highlights in drop coverage. He'll give you highlights in the pick and roll defense. He'll give you defensive highlights in lots of different ways. I think he has lapses. I think he has plays that Tom Thibodeau would be like, I can't play this guy. So like Adem Bona is not playing over Precious Achiuwa. Adem Bona is not touching the court for Tom Thibodeau this upcoming season. But yes, Clyde would love the name. So I think the fit with Tibbs for Dunn is there. Dylan Jones, I think he'd have to learn to like, but I think he might. Bona, I can't see him loving. You've got to be a star in your role, and Bona is not a star rim protector. He's just a jack of all trades kind of rim protector in every kind of defensive coverage. He can do it. Yeah, I guess I have to think about Bona more, but I'm pretty set on my thoughts on the other 2. Zach, what's going on? Jordan Bub, if you would have to rank 5 prospects that fit the New York Knicks roster, that best fit the New York Knicks roster, who would it be and why? This is tough because, am I allowed to go out of their draft range here? Like Devin Carter's number 1. Fit the New York Knicks roster. I'll go Devin Carter. I will go maybe Isaiah Collier. Just because he can drive the freaking basketball. Obviously Alex Sarr, but like that's boring. I'll go Eve Missy. Sorry. I will go Dalton Connect, and at number 5, I will go Bub Carrington because I think he brings an aspect to the team that it doesn't have right now, especially if Alec Burks walks. Jason Fisher says the Knicks are trying to move out of this draft. I doubt they'll be able to, and will have to make at least one of these picks. Sure, I think they might have to make one of these picks. I think they're probably looking for some kind of deal that this is more speculatory than reportatory, so don't go aggregating me. I think they're looking to make a deal where they take like Bogdanovich and something else and 1 or 2 of these picks and turn it into another piece to add to this team. They're a really good team. You're watching the NBA playoffs thinking, daydreaming about a healthy New York Knicks team and how they would have looked against the Pacers, how they would have looked against the Celtics, how they might look against the Mavericks or the Timberwolves. Again, the lens is different. Got some more super chats. Thank you guys so much for the support. Kevin Danishevsky, KFS Study Hall legend. Thoughts on what the New York Knicks do with Rokas Jokubaitis? I think this is the summer. This is the Shakespeare summer for him to call over or not to call over. If they draft Zach Edey in the first round and trade the other pick and trade 38 or draft someone that they want to send to Westchester, and Burks walks, might they call Rokas over to potentially play minutes off the bench? Of course, he'd have to earn them in camp. He'd have to yada yada. It's Tom Thibodeau. No one walks in with guaranteed minutes. It's part of the ethos of the team. That said, I think he's talented. I think Tibbs would like him as someone who can get the team into their sets, who can make the pop floaters late in the shot clock, who isn't afraid to shoot the 3 ball when it's needed, when he's open, who keeps the defense honest. He's a good player. So thoughts on what I think they do with him? What I think they will do with him is call him over, but plays like maybe like 8 minutes a game, and then like come the playoffs is phased out of the rotation. What I think they should do with him is call him over, give him an earnest shot, and you know what? I think they should call him over and give him an earnest shot, 12 to 15 minutes a game, just playing simple offense, seeing what he's able to do. If he can be like a star in that role, then go ahead and let that role grow. Let him show you what he's going to show you. But they might just not even call him over. I feel like every summer we play this will they, won't they game, and he never gets called over. So maybe I'm being a pessimist. Another super chat, Ben Kim Gervy. Thank you so much, my man. Who would you target with the Knicks picks if you were the Knicks front office? That's a great question. I'm going to say Yves Missi and Bub Carrington. Here's the reason I'm able to say those names so quickly. Yves Missi is someone who, even if you retain the two centers, or if you lose one and then Precious is playing backup, he's someone who I think will be good enough to play that Mitchell Robinson role, the young Mitchell Robinson role on the New York Knicks. I think you can work with him. Othello Harrington will turn him into a box out monster, fundamental monster. Get the fundies going good with Othello, watching some film, working on footwork and things of the sort. I think Yves Missi is someone who the New York Knicks might be able to benefit from having him like fall a little bit in this draft. But to me, if you're projected to go in the 20s, and you're there at 32, you didn't really fall. You just weren't a fit for the teams that were picking there. It's so fluid in this draft. Don't get too attached to valuing guys at certain levels. And Bub Carrington, I was talking with Bryce Simon, Motor City Hoops, on the first official episode of season number 3 of the draft class show here at Knicks Film School, and he talked about Bub Carrington as being that zag kind of pick for the New York Knicks, someone who brings something to the table that does kind of fit the team a bit, but not in the typical way that they draft. Maybe that's what they need. He can play pick and roll. Like he can be the ball handler in pick and roll situations. And the thing that he's got that Tom Thibodeau would love is the pull up mid-range jumper. I think, again, shout out to Presidente and the Strickland. They just did a player profile on him. You can go check that out on the Strickland's page. I thought it was really good from Prez. The player profiles, not to blow their spot up, are coming all from an article that Prez wrote along with at Deuce McBride. I think Adam, don't kill me if that's wrong. He's really good too. I really liked that article, and I loved the segment on Bub Carrington. It was really strong. So yeah. Let's see. Sometimes you get the Anthony Bennett draft, your boy Benz. You had to do it to him. Oh man. Shout out Jabari Parker. That weird reporter really was in his face. Shout out to him, man. Shout out Jabari. Let's see what y'all got. Ben, what's the chance we pick up someone like Jamal Sheed or Pullen as a UFA? I think Pullen went back. Let me confirm that for you right now, but I think no, he didn't. Zion Pullen is working out for the Pacers, the Heat, some different players. First team All Big West, 18-4-4. Those are great numbers. He's someone who was a Florida Gator who I feel like was Knicks fans love talking about, like true point guards, pure point guards. Like that's him. Does he go undrafted? Maybe not. So I think maybe they wouldn't pick up Pullen because I think he would get picked. Jamal Shed, I could see going undrafted, but I would go for him if I were the New York Knicks, and I would send him to Westchester for a season. That kid's a nutcase at the point of attack. He's crazy. He just wants to stop the ball. That's what great basketball teams do, is they consistently send you off kilter. They consistently get you out of your first action. They make you recover. They make you read the defense and come up, see if plan B or C or D is going to work. Ryan Dunn is another guy like that. Like if they drafted Ryan Dunn and grabbed Shed as a UDFA, that's really loudly saying like what kind of team the Knicks want to be, a Tom Thibodeau kind of team. So yeah, if he goes undrafted, I could see the Knicks going after him. Let's see. Zach, my guy, Zach Blatter, how we doing? You tweeted some Ryan Dunn defense highlights today. His defense is obviously good, but do you believe in his offense enough for the Knicks to take a swing? He shot 20% from 3 and only 53% from the line. Yeah, I know. It's not pretty. It's really not pretty. It's really not pretty. But that being said, do you trust your coaching staff? Do you trust your developmental staff? Do you trust your G League staff? If you do, that's why you pay him the big bucks. Go ahead, send Dunn there for a year. Let him soak up usage. Let him run the show and develop those ancillary skills so that when he comes to the NBA and he's got to put the ball on the floor, got to get to the rim, got to dish out to the opposite corner, got to use his weak hand to make a pass, he will have that experience from that usage. I believe in his offense enough for the Knicks to take a swing in this draft class, just because if he has to play this coming season, he can, because he's freaking great on defense. Whoa, super chat from your boy Benz. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Ben says, I love the show. I like Day'Ron Holmes, A10, and Ajayi Mitchell in the first, and the small forward from Baylor in the second. Jacoby Walter, you're talking about? And sleeper Zion Pullen. Yeah, Pullen, just spoke a little bit about him. He's a sleeper. He is a good sleeper, and there are teams looking at him. I could see someone reaching on him at the late teens. Like, this is that kind of draft class, y'all. This is not the year to ask me where I think someone's going, because nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. The draft cycle this year has been so versatile in terms of how it's been discussed. Not inconsistent, just versatile, just dynamic, just trying to come up with words with positive connotations. It's awesome. I think it's awesome, right? Like, you got the whole KFS community trying to work together to put together a puzzle, but every single piece feels kind of just like each other, and everyone's blindfolded. Like, you've got no chance. This is like trying to hit bullseye of a target that's moving, and you're blindfolded and your ears are covered. You don't even know where in the room it is. You just got to throw a dart and pray to whoever you're going to pray to that dart hits something that's not like your friend's shoulder. Like, dude, this is an impossible draft to predict, which is awesome, which is so much fun for someone like me. So yeah, Day'Ron Holmes, A10. Let's talk about it. Offensively, very gifted. You watch him play A10 basketball. It's a ground and pound conference. It's a ground and pound league. Not particularly for his style of play. I saw Dayton last year twice in person, and I thought to myself each time, everyone loves this Day'Ron Holmes kid. They say he's the best player on Dayton. I think Tumani Kamara is the better NBA prospect. Lo and behold, not writing off Day'Ron Holmes, not saying he won't be great in the NBA, not already saying that Tumani Kamara in one season in the NBA has locked himself in, but I think he's a whole lot better than anyone was expecting him to be that wasn't a Dayton Flyer fan. Shout out Professionally Loud, the Dayton Flyer fan who I talk to a lot on Twitter because of his Obi Toppin, Knicks, Dayton fandom, intersectionality. Of course, now we've lost him to Indiana. But that said, I think Day'Ron Holmes could be good in the NBA. There's more spacing. There's more space on the court for him to get his game off, and he is versatile. He can do things with the ball in his hands. I'm just not sure that he carries. Okay, if you're not going to be someone with star upside, you've got to be like crazy about winning the margins and about being a star in your role. I don't know that I've seen Day'Ron Holmes be like religiously dedicated to winning the margins. Then again, his role in college was to be the star of the team. So that wasn't his job. And we've seen guys like Obi Toppin go from the star of Dayton to struggling with the margins in the NBA until they really were put in a system where they've got, life floats on all their weaknesses of their game, and they can just be themselves. We also saw Obi Toppin lose the starting job to Aaron Nesmith and never get it back. Day'Ron Holmes, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Phoenix Suns took him with their first round pick. and we're just like, okay, we couldn't trade this pick. We're just going to go with the guy we think can be the best player here. And D.R.E.A.M is so good, and he's so good at so many different things offensively. And it's like, you guys need a rim protector so bad. So yeah, Ajayi Mitchell, let's talk about it. I mean, Santa Barbara, pick and roll guard, pick and roll, I call it the magic wand holder, right? When you've got the magic wand, you can simply run the show. You can get a team into its sets. You can be in charge. You're the conductor of the train. You're the pilot of the ship, of the plane. I think that he is someone who, in this draft class, in the sea of different prospects that there are with different skill sets, with different roles that they might fit in, he's someone who might just carve out space for himself to go ahead and say, hey, he's going to stick. So I could see Mitchell sticking. I could see him going in the first round, mayhaps. Yeah. And then Jacoby Walter. Yeah, I could see Mitchell going in the first round. Jacoby Walter, I like him. He's raw. Jacoby Walter is raw. But the small forward from Baylor, as you said, has a shot. He's got the ratchet on him. And I think that would allow him to play a role in the NBA from day one, or as soon as someone gets hurt, he gets into that rotation as a shooter. As time goes on, I think he could do a little more. That being said, because of that, same thing I said with Dunn. Send him to Westchester. Let him run the show. Put him in charge of that team. He's the number one option. Use the developmental league as a developmental league and give Walter the number one job in the G League, and give him the ability to work on his ancillary skills, because that, to me, is how he would make his money. So yeah. Another super chat, Luke Shamoon. When I think Kris, I think draft crushes like J-Dub and Deuce. Wow, that is an honor. Please keep doing that and not remembering any of my abhorrent, horrible, terrible, embarrassing, mortifying misses on my big board. These are the only two evaluations I've ever done in my life. I've never evaluated any other prospects besides J-Dub and Deuce, and I was right about both. God bless America. Who is your crush this year? Okay. Yeah, we do not talk about Sharif Cooper. Thank you, a spider crab. We do not talk about it. You know who liked him? London's Theory, Tyrese from the Strickland. Go talk to him about that. I don't know who that is. Sharif, who? Co-opper? I don't know who that is. Who is your crush this year? Okay, my draft crush this year. This is tough. I mean, Devin Carter was it for months. Like, I was there at Madison Square Garden covering the Big East tournament, and I watched Devin Carter play all 40 and dog it out. I love that kid. He is probably my number one draft crush this year. He's like, he is athletic. He's not like athletic. Sorry, being a Gen Z teenager, even though I'm 22 years old. He is athletic. He is tough as nails. He's got every, coach's dream player, cliche to him. Lunch pail guy, first guy in, last guy out, all that stuff. But he can shoot it. He can pass it. He is a freaking bulldog on the defensive end of the court. So without waxing too much poetic about him, I would say Devin Carter is one of my draft crushes. Other draft crushes. Let's go with Bub Carrington. I like him a lot. I think he is the kind of upside play that you can make in this draft and not regret if it goes south. And I think I would have like a little like crush on his game, regardless of what draft class it was. I just feel like in a normal draft, I would say to target him in the top 40, like the 38th pick, for example, would be like, you got to get Bub Carrington. In this draft class, you've got to take him in the first round if you want him. I can't see him falling to day 2. Now it is day 2 again. NFL going on here. Okay. And another draft crush for you. You want me to go like real like album deep cut here? Or do you want me to give someone else who I just really, really like? Okay, if you allow me to defend neither, I'll give you both. The album deep cut would be Tristan Newton, and maybe Noah Penda. Reese Beekman, draft crush. Deuce McBride vibes, big Deuce McBride vibes from him, and then some higher caliber draft crushes. I'm gonna go Jonathan Mogbo, Eve Missy. That's one. Eve Missy. Okay. Ben said deep cut. I gave you some deep cuts. I gave you some track 13 on the album. I gave you some, okay. Back to comments. What do we got? Neek Clifford. Oh, your boy Ben's super chat. Thank you so much, your boy Ben's. Listen, everyone's super chatting or just commenting. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you so much for hanging out, spending this time with me. It is an honor to be here with you guys. I would sit here and talk basketball, talk NBA draft with the window that's right here. That's my guy. But being able to be here with you guys is really an honor. Let me go sentimental on y'all for 22 seconds. I'm timing myself. You guys watched me grow up. I had 68 Twitter followers when I begged this guy, Jay Macri, NBA, to let me work for his thing, Knicks Film School, for free. Just do anything. And there's over 11,000 of y'all following me, and I have my own show with Knicks Film School. Like, I'm going to shit myself. I just can't, you guys are freaking awesome. Time. Okay. Thank you so much for being you. I was 17 when I started with KFS. Now I'm 22. God damn, you are old. I'm old. Okay. Neek Clifford, how do you feel about him as a potential draft target? 2025 draft class will be next. No, I'm not trying to be an ass. He returned to school right at the deadline. I hope you're doing well too, Julian. I hope you are doing well too. Yes, Neek pulled out of the draft. What prospects do you believe have all-star upside that hasn't been talked about in this draft? That's a great question. I think who has all-star upside that hasn't been talked about in this draft? I want to say the guys with all-star upside in this draft that's feasible have been talked about, because who else are you going to talk about? You're looking for someone with all-star upside, maybe with the number one pick. I think Alex Sarr, if he goes number one and never makes an all-star team more than one time in his entire career, would be a successful number one. It's just yes, I think this draft class is still good. I like it. I have fun evaluating it. I think there are going to be plenty of guys that stick in this draft class. That said, the expectations game is hard. Let's go to the 2020 NBA draft, which people talked about as being an affront to society, and the worst NBA draft ever. With the 12th pick, Tyrese Halliburton. 11th pick, Devin Vassell. With the 21st pick, Tyrese Maxey. With the 25th pick, young guy named Emmanuel Quickly. 28th pick, Jaden McDaniels. 30th pick, my number 11 overall prospect in that draft, Desmond Bane. 35, Xavier Tillman Sr. Trey Jones and Nick Richards, 41 and 42. Isaiah Joe, 49. Kenyon Martin Jr., 52. Sam Merrill, 60. Paul Reed, 58. To me, that's the kind of draft class this is. There's going to be guys who stick and who are better than okay, good players go in the 45s. I can't write off this draft class. I won't do it. Watkins would have been a nice nick. Yeah, Jameer Watkins. That's a fun pick for New York if they would have had the chance to make it. I just don't. It's so hard to think who's going to pass both the Perrin and Thibodeau test. Guys like Grimes did. Guys like McBride did. Someone like Quickly didn't pass the Thibodeau test, and that's why he's not a New York Knick to this day. So yeah. Got a super chat from your boy Benz. Jalen Bridges is from Baylor, and if you lose one center, I like PJ Hall. Oh, you were not talking about Jacoby Walter. That is really awkward. I did a whole thing on Jacoby Walter thinking that's you. Okay. Sorry, man. Jalen Bridges, yeah, projected second round pick, like you said. Because Jacoby Walter, I think I would take in the first. He's got workouts going. He is someone who was good in the 5-on-5 scrimmages. I think he averaged, please do not hold me to this, I want to say like 11-2, 11-3, something like that. And he was all Big 12 third team. So, Jalen Bridges is someone who I think could be a guy who falls in love with the margins. He declared for the draft last year. He decided to return to play. I think that was a good move. I don't know if he would have been taken, especially now, projected second round pick. Listen, you're looking for role players. You're looking for guys who can be stars in their role. Jalen Bridges, definitely the 3-and-D label. Maybe he doesn't meet that because he just this season took like the big step as a 3-point shooter. But he was so good at the end of his junior season, and then was really good this season. It's again, are you going to buy the whole sample size, or are you going to buy the year and a quarter where he was like a stud shooter? It's tough, but he's solid defensively. I don't think he's some crazy defender, but he's better off the ball than on the ball. And it's not because he's bad on the ball. That's a good thing for a wing. He's got the statistical markers to be a good off-ball defensive playmaker. I do think that, will his usage, the usage is what's going to bite him in the butt. Okay. Because when you're looking at guys who are going to be 3-and-D players, who are going to thrive in the NBA in a complementary ancillary role, you're looking for guys who had high usage in college, who were the best player on their team, who can put the ball on the floor in a split second. Look at Quentin Grimes being a former 5-star point guard recruit. That didn't turn out well. He couldn't separate against defenders. He couldn't create offense. But have you seen that guy drive in from the corner like this and get to the rim and dump it to Mitch Robb? Have you seen that guy pull up in a second? Like, he ended up being so good off the ball because he understood what it took to be on the ball. It's like, you don't want to rule out anyone that didn't have insanely high usage. You don't want to be so strict. But you do want to look at those markers, and Jalen Bridges' usage in college. Like, I think if you do like the Bart Torvik query of seniors who had that usage, you get like Jericho Sims, Kadeem Allen, Isaiah Livers, Pat Connaughton, Andrew Nemhard, Hunter Tyson. Like, you get guys. Oh, Thibault should be one too. But yeah, so he's tough. I don't know that he would fit the Knicks bill. If you lose one center, I like PJ Hall. I think it was No Ceilings that did like a Naz Reid comp for him. I mean, I love Naz Reid. I saw Naz Reid play when I was 14 years old and he was 16 in person. That's because he's New Jersey made. Basketball needs New Jersey. Shout out. But that's as I live stream from the Bronx. That said, that's a tall task for him to meet that comparison. I think he can be good though, but will he get stuck in that jack of all trades, master of none kind of evaluation tree? Maybe. Let's see. What do y'all got in the comments? I'm going to take a bunch more questions. Let's say like 10 minutes left, maybe, on this stream. I know I'm supposed to go an hour, but I'm going to push it extra for y'all because why not? Do you think the Knicks, Cheddar Assman asks, do you think the Knicks could target Bub Carrington over Tyler Kolek because he might have more potential to play next to Brunson in spurts? I don't think that's something that factors into their evaluation. Like, I think they just try to get good players and they'll figure it out later. Now they're drafting for fit more than ever, but like, they didn't think Thibodeau didn't think Deuce McBride could play with Jalen Brunson, even just in spurts. 17 guys on the roster getting injured forced him to, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs he was like, oh, we're down 8, Brunson McBride backcourt spam smash button. Like, I don't know. I think things are a little more malleable than that. I don't think they think so tunnel visiony about fit. I think they try to factor in fit. But yeah, Jay Vertical, what up, JV? Nice to see you in here, man. I'm in love with Bub Carrington, especially next to a guy like Deuce. Great pull-up shooter, great defensively, and he rebounds. 3 big things this front office looks for out of guards. Yes. Will Bub Carrington be as good of a rebounder at the NBA level? Mayhaps not, but who cares? He's fun as hell. He's a bucket getter. He's a real hooper. And the mid-range is a layup for him. He grinds. You can tell. That's awesome. I love that kid. So yeah, got a super chat from T in the building. What is up? What is your draft philosophy when looking at a guard or forward, wing, or big man? Okay, so you want me to do like guard, forward, wing, big man? Guard. What kind of guard are you? Are you an on-ball guard or are you an off-ball guard? If you're an off-ball guard, can you shoot? Can you defend? Can you rebound? Those are the things that if you're an on-ball creator, you can afford for me to not care about. So like Deuce McBride, I knew he could hit the pull-up midi. I believed in his three-point shot, but was he ever going to be a ball-dominant NBA guard? No. So he's got to be a killer shooter, a killer defender, a smart passer. He checked those boxes. Boom. If you're on the ball, how many buckets of yours look easy? How often do you make it look easy against college defenses or, I guess more pro defenses overseas? Do you show me easy buckets? Do you show me tough buckets? You need the diversity, men's or women's basketball. Paige Becker's a great example of a guard who shows you the easy buckets and who shows you the tough buckets. Juju Watkins, great example of a guard who shows you the easy buckets, who shows you the tough buckets. You need the mix. Look at Johnny Davis. I loved Johnny Davis. I'm never going to fall for something like that again, I don't think. Why? Because all of his buckets were tough buckets. He made the hell out of them. I was like, wow, this kid is tough as nails. And he can shoot that thing from anywhere on the court inside the arc. And then he has a good standstill 3-point shot, but he wasn't showing the easy buckets. And that was because the athleticism wasn't there for the NBA level. So yeah, I guess it's like on ball. Do you make up for not having some of those ancillary skills? Do you show me easy and tough buckets? Can you create for others? Do you make your teammates better? Forward wing. Again, what kind of player are you? Are you ball dominant? If so, do I think you have all-star upside? If you do, I can ignore some of those things. If I don't, I need you to kill the margins. If I don't think you're ball dominant, if you're off the ball, you got to be a great off-ball defender. You got to be lengthy. If you're not lengthy, you better be able to shoot that thing like Desmond Bane. So are you a Jalen Williams? Are you a Desmond Bane? Are you a Tari Eason? If you're on the ball, are you a Jaylen Brown? Are you a Jason Tatum? Are you everyone loves to comp every wing and their mother's dog walker to Paul George? Like, okay, right. But are you a PG? Are you a Tobias Harris? Right. Like there's, by the way, if Tobias Harris, random take, just going to throw this at y'all so you can ruminate on it. If Tobias Harris is gettable for a veteran's minimum, if he'll go to a good team, Knicks should be all over that. That is an overcorrection. People always confuse overpaid with bad. They're not the same thing. And then big man. Big man is like the position at which I'm the strongest about looking for guys that can be a star in their role. It causes me to miss sometimes. I was not high at all on Alpi Şengün because I thought the defense was going to be so bad that the offense wouldn't make up for it, right? So there's that lens coming into play. But you talk about other big men that I've evaluated throughout the years and even pro evaluation. Like I was all in on Isaiah Hartenstein before he was a Knick. I wanted the Knicks to go get him. Why? Because when he had the ball, he made it worth your time. He had a high assist rate. He could make the last seconds of the shot clock easy dumps. So if you're a big man, are you a rebounder? What are your fundamentals like? Are you boxing out? Are you sealing the paint? Are you a shooter? Yes. Okay, you better be good at it. If you're a fake shooter, I probably don't care. I've never been a Miles Turner guy. If you're not a shooter, fine and dandy, but again, you better make it worth it that you're not a shooter. So I think the draft philosophy overall for anything, and this is something that was kind of taught to me by one of an NBA team's lead scouts, was like, think right away about what kind of role this guy is going to fill. Because if coming in, they need 2 years before they're 2 years away from being a superstar, it's probably just not going to happen. So yeah. Super chat from Jess Elsner. Jess, so nice to see you here. Just stop by to say Kris rules. Thanks for these. Thanks, Jess. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We love you. Super chat from Hushes. How likely is it that the Knicks punt both first round picks? This reminds me of like this is showing my age in a reverse way than how people usually mean it, but this reminds me of the Dr. Doofenshmirtz quote where he's like, if I had a nickel for every time that happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a whole lot. It's only 10 cents, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Like, would they actually do it twice? Yes. How would it happen? Everybody that they want there is gone. Everyone they were targeting there is gone. This happened the year that they traded the first round pick for, or they traded out of it when they were there, and then they traded back and took Grimes. Like, they liked Trey Murphy. He was gone. Which draft was that? The 2021 draft? Hold on. Sorry if you hear me typing. I gotta go. Yes. Okay. So 2021 draft. They liked Book Knight. He was gone. They liked Zaire Williams a little bit. Actually, a good deal, I think. He was gone. They loved Duarte. He was gone. And then they really liked Trey Murphy, and they really liked Trey Mann, and they were both gone. So what'd they do? They traded the 19th pick to the Hornets. They took the future first-round pick, and they let the Hornets draft Kai Jones. God bless. If you're saying, oh, they should have taken Jalen Johnson, he went at 20. Okay. You were mad about Obi Toppin's minutes. You wanted them to draft a third guy who only plays power forward. God bless. But yeah, so I think they could punt both first round picks, but that is if their guys are all gone. Oh my God. One more super chat and I'm going to cry. Robert, in the darkness I go. Using my girlfriend's makeup mirror with the light here because I'm not at home. Robert Cross, congratulations on your graduation, young upstart. Oh, Robert, thank you. Thank you so much, dude. We'll always be a fan of yours wherever you may go. That means the world to me. Unconditional support and love from you is just amazing, Robert, and from the KFS, thank you so much. Go have yourself a nice dinner and a couple cold ones. Let's go, Knicks. Study hall forever. Yes, study hall forever. We should do some off-season editions of that. We'll talk to GM AC about that. Oh my gosh, Robert, you are so kind. I hope you don't mind if I take like my parents out to dinner or something with this. Oh my gosh, man, you are incredible. I'm like embarrassing myself with how I don't know how to respond to this. So I will just say thank you very much. You are much appreciated. You are loved. I have been reading like a demon recently. I've read 10 books in the last 12 days, and I'm going to read The Power of Crowds, that book you sent me, very soon. Or is it The Power of Crowds? The Wisdom of Crowds. I'm going to read that book you sent me very soon. I was so behind on books. I've read, again, 10 in less than 2 weeks. My girlfriend got me a Kindle for my birthday. I've been like addicted to it. That book is up like very soon on the docket, and you are so appreciated, Robert W. Cross. Thank you so much. Wow. Let's get to some comments. I'm going to do quick hitters. Let's say I'll do 5 more comments. I'm literally just going to scroll through. There's so many from y'all. I'm sorry. You know what? Let's do more than 5. Let's say I'll answer 10 comments, but with quick hitters. 10 comments, but with quick hitters. Super chats, of course, get priority, but that's not me like grifting for super chats, just in case I missed any. Okay, let's do it. Brian Martinez says, I hope they trade up to the top 10. Draft is such a crapshoot every year. There's no such thing as a good or bad class. I get what you're saying. I mostly agree. I think there is such thing as a good or bad class. That said, everyone said the 2020 class was crap. It ended up being great. Everyone said the 2021 class was the best thing since the wheel was invented. It has not aged incredibly. So there's that. Baylor Shireman is one of my guys in this draft. Jason Meredith, he would be a good pick at 25. I would say if he's there at 38, you take him and you run. But in the first round, maybe a little too rich for me on Shireman. Maybe I'm biased because I saw him play in person several times this season. And especially at the Big East tournament where he I don't think he's really impressed except for one game where he shot the lights out. And like, again, there's that Indiana Pacers modern style of basketball where you score 40 points in 8 minutes and then you spend the next 4 minutes of the quarter going scoreless. Volatile outcome trees come from volatile shot diets, come from guys like Baylor Shireman. So not super sold on him, but I do like him a good deal. Like, I like him. I would take him in the top 40 in this class, and I think that's a compliment. So yeah. Jordan Bubb, what would be the perfect draft for the Knicks in your eyes if they use 1 out of 3 draft picks to pick a prospect? Okay, let's go trading 24 in a bigger deal, like maybe like the Mikal Bridges mock trade I put out there the last day of the season. And 38 would go in that trade as well. Boom, boom. Leaves you 1 pick at 25, trading back, maybe from 25 to 32, maybe from 25 to 34, and grabbing someone who you think in the second round will return first round value, but that you trust to play this season if enough players get hurt where that's necessary. Maybe that guy is Tyler Kolek. Maybe that guy is maybe that guy is Bub Carrington. Maybe that guy is Jonathan Mogbo. Mogbo, just like dunk addict, can fit into the offense the way OG Anunoby did on January 7th in his first game for the Knicks against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where he just filled open space, dunked the ball when open, shot threes when open. Mogbo needs to get there as a shooter, but you get the gist. So yeah. Okay. That is a third comment. There's 3. We got 7 to go. Okay. Ronaldo Maldonado at the end of the draft. Who do you think we end up with? I think the New York Knicks end up with. I could see one situation where they end up with like Eve Missy and Jamal Shed as a undrafted free agent or something. I could see another draft situation where they end up with Ryan Dunn and Tristan Newton. I could see another draft situation where they end up with I want to say like Johnny Furphy and like a Reese Beekman. So there's it's too hard to give you one outcome. There's 4. Ben Kim Gervey. There were some. Oh, this isn't a question, but I'll read it. There are some great players in the Ant Bennett draft. Giannis for one. Yes, there were, but top of the draft. Dylan Kitts. What about Cam Spencer for the second round? What do I think about Cam Spencer in the second round? I would say he's okay. If he went to Rutgers, I doubt many people are talking about him as a big time prospect or something. Like, I think being on that UConn team helped him a lot. It's because they paid him $400,000. Respect. But that said, yeah, he's okay. Is that 5? I think that's 5. Okay, so 5 more. We didn't forget about BJ Boston either. Damn it, Jason. Real hooper. Respect the real hooper. I bet Noah Pendo withdraws from this draft. I could see that, but I feel like he had some hype recently. Maybe he picked up a little bit. Okay, here's one. Number 6. Thoughts on Melvin Ajinka. I haven't been able to watch film on him. Two-way player. I like, when you meet someone in real life, if they're confident, sometimes it comes off as a little aggressive. Sometimes it comes off as someone who you're sure that they're sure of who they want to be and who they are. I think Ajinka is that kind of decision maker on the ball. He's headstrong. He knows what he wants to do. And I don't know that he fits the Knicks bill, but he's fun. And I would watch film on him because I think a bunch of people have different opinions. Number 7, Ben Kim Gervey. Who are the Archidiakonos superstars in this draft? Who will Thibodeau fall in love with and groom as intelligent, tough guys on the fringe? My answer, literally the next comment, Dirty Dancer, draft chat in the KFS Discord, superstar legend Dirty Dancer says, I think it's Shed, Ben Kim Gervey. Yes, Jamal Shed. He is the Archidiakonos superstar. I think he can be better than Ryan is in the league, but that's because of the defensive end of the floor. I think he's a leader. I think he's a really smart player. I think he's a tough cookie. So yeah. PJ going back to Clemson. Is he really? Did he return too? Why can't I PJ Clemson PJ Hall Clemson NBA draft? I haven't seen him returning. Maybe. Just Knicks, bro. You sound like Fred Katz. LOL. I have gotten that before, actually. So when Tom Thibodeau was asked by Fred Katz about the video that Thibodeau swears Mitchell Robinson made, I had 3 different friends send me the SNY Knicks clip and say, did you really ask Tibbs this? And I was like, no, I actually wasn't in the room. That's my guy, Matthew Katz. Okay. Yes, everyone. Hayden Freed, Ben Kim Gervey, Dirty Dancer. Everyone shouting out Robert Cross. Yes, shout out Robert Cross. Let's see. I said I'll take questions and I won't count comments. So questions. I worry that Jalen Tyson may be like Johnny Davis from Jason. You see, like I get that. But he's bigger. And so because he's more athletic, because he's bigger, I don't think that the same dilemma or problem is really there. But I think you can dislike Tyson for other reasons that I'd find reasonable. But I think Tyson's cool. So yeah. Okay, two more. Let's see. What do we got? Dirty Dancer. I hate to hire Walt Perrin to specifically kill picks at the end of the draft and then never use him. Well, I'm going to be sassy with you, Dirty Dancer, because you know I love you. Would you rather the Knicks suck and be like desperately grabbing for star guys in the late first round and be like trying really hard to draft someone at pick 58 every year that is going to be good? Like, they got Jericho Sims at 58. That was fun and dandy and cool. Don't think you want to see many more guys like that on the roster. I can tell you guys, like, Sims works really hard. He's a fun guy to be around. He's quiet, keeps to himself, doesn't cause any problems in practice or on the court or anywhere. And he's a really hard worker. He takes what he needs to take from Thibodeau and just applies it and does his best. He's one of the Archidiakonos style of hard workers at the end of the bench. Those are the guys that the Knicks take at the end of the draft. So yeah. Dirty Dancer. It would take Mitchell Robinson to move up, and I don't really want to do that for chemistry reasons. I wouldn't want to do that for basketball reasons. You guys ever seen Family Guy when Peter Griffin and Lois Griffin win a boat and the guy's like, well, hold on, you can get a boat or you can have a mystery box. And Peter's like, whoa. I've always wanted a mystery box. It could be anything, Lois. It could even be a boat. And Lois is like, exactly, we'll take the boat. And Peter's like, we'll take the mystery box. And then they got tickets to a comedy club. Like, that to me is trading Mitchell Robinson to move up in this specific draft class. Who are you going to take? If you take 24, 25 and Mitchell Robinson and try and move up to like the top 8, like, who the hell? Sarr isn't falling there. So you're going to sign a center to replace him, and then all because you wanted to draft like Matas Buzelis or Nikola Topic or Kyle Flip. Like, no. And Ron Holland would be like, if he's there, okay, sure. But the Knicks aren't doing that. They're good right now. Like, they're going to operate like a team that's good right now. All right. We will read one more comment. Who is the lottery pick most likely to fail? Ben Kim Gervey. Nasty question. Who is the lottery pick most likely to fail? Oh, that's tough. I feel like it's not Reed Shepard. He won't totally bust out. It's not Sar. I don't think it's Klingon. Risa Shea, people are really torn on him, but I think at the end of the day, he'll be decent at worst. Lottery pick most likely to fail. It's tough to even tell you who's going in the lottery. Like, I'm going to go. I hate doing this because I like him. I'm going to go Cody Williams from Colorado. If he goes in the lottery to a team that is not willing to put in the time, energy, and attention to really develop him on the offensive end of the floor, he is going to remain raw for years. In the darkness again. He is going to remain raw for years to come, and he's going to be someone that you think, oh my God, he got drafted top 14, and anyone with the brain would be like, okay, remember the draft class it was, remember what team took him. They didn't have the infrastructure for him. They were just trying to get a bite at the Williams apple, hoping he would turn into Jalen. Like, that was a misguided pick. It's not his fault. But yeah. So with that said, I said I'd do 3 more questions. Then I said I would do 5. Then I did 10. And now we're 17 minutes over. So thank you so much for tuning in to Dream. Oh, hold on. We got a last second buzzer beating super chat. We're going to take it. Your boy Ben's last one. Pell Lawson from Arizona. Love his game. You know, that's fun. That's fun. Larson played 4 years. So that's like, could be technically a Knicks target. Larson, someone who played all 4 years. He's like a wing, but he does like a little bit of it all. He is, I guess, a sleeper. Like, I guess he's a sleeper because you're talking about him like he could get drafted. I feel like if he goes in the top 40, I'd be really surprised. But like, if a team goes for him, I could see him being someone who like plays some minutes early. Because if they're taking him high, then they're looking for him to play. He was 1 of 7 from the floor in one of his scrimmages at the combine. That's not awesome, but he was good everywhere else on the court, and that's awesome. So could he play early? Could he be a do-it-all kind of guy? Maybe. Again, because he's like 6'5", I don't know that he is a Nick target. But regardless, he can do a little bit of it all. So yeah, Dirty Dancer, you're too funny. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Draft Rules Everything Around Me Dream here on Knicks Film School. I have been Kris Pursiainen. Like this video if you're on YouTube. Subscribe to the KFS YouTube if you're on YouTube. If you're on Twitter, throw it a retweet. Go to the KFS YouTube. Support. Thank you one more time to everybody who left a super chat. Robert Cross, you especially, you crazy man. And thank you to everyone who commented, who watched and didn't comment, but just enjoyed some nice snack or drink while tuning in. You guys are the best. You made my evening, and thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Ben. Dirty Dancer, by the way, the reason I said he was being funny was he said, I can't take the beauty with the full power of the ring light. I wish I could flip the laptop. Do you see in my glasses how intense this makeup mirror is? Look at this thing. Look how many lights. Anyway, Jess, thank you so much for the congratulations. I really appreciate it. If you've watched my full KFS tenure, you watched me go from a scrawny, awkward high schooler to a less scrawny, still awkward college graduate. That's funny. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you all. And thanks for tuning in to Draft Rules Everything Around Me. Leave a 5-star rating if you're listening afterwards on the KFS podcast feed. And I'll see you next time for Draft Class Season 3, Episode 2, coming to you this Saturday. Peace out. Have a good one. Thank you.